Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're looking at the price of Bitcoin, currently trading at $113,500. Nice to see that. The reason why we had such a good day in the markets this morning and going into the afternoon was because we actually had a PPI report that came out that showed that inflation was very lower than expected, okay, which gives the green light for the Federal Reserve to actually feel comfortable about lowering interest rates, which is going to then probably cause prices to go up here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Forex Factory here website that shows that the PPI report, we were looking at the PPI was supposed to come in at 0.3%. We actually got a negative number, 0.1%, negative 0.1%. And that's showing deflation, not inflation. So that's good to see, okay? The previous month, we actually had 0.7 for inflation, which kind of gave a little bit of a scare back in August. But now we're looking at inflation not really being that big of a deal anymore. It's actually deflating compared to what it did a month ago, okay? So with that being said, the price of Bitcoin came up to some targets. We came up to the $113,400 level that I was eyeballing. Let me just try to minimize this here a little bit. The $113,400 was a level that we were at last Friday that we topped off at. We also topped off at $113,480 on August 28th. Okay, and we also came down to like we came down to about 113,347 here on August 6th. So this was a level for us to break, and we broke past that. And then looking here at the 4-hour chart, if I do a deep dive into a Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, you see Bitcoin actually got resistance off of this 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. We came a little bit above it at 114,362. And that's above this 200 moving average, which was at 113,800. I'm expecting that 200 moving average to act as resistance for now. Bitcoin's probably going to be consolidating over the next few hours until we can actually flip this 200 moving average from resistance into support here. We might have a little bit hard time doing that. We might be able to get the rocket fuel that we need to get past this point here at 114K. We might be able to do that going into tomorrow when we have a CPI report, which is another inflation report, which is actually, some people would say, more important than the PPI report. But if the CPI report is also showing deflation, then I'm expecting Bitcoin coming up to 114,000 all over again, going into 115,000, which is the golden pocket level that we've been talking about for the past few live streams here. And who knows, maybe we might even see Bitcoin get up to that 118,891 level here, that 0.786 retracement on the Fibonacci. So those are levels to be looking out for to the upside here if Bitcoin's going to be bullish. But if Bitcoin's going to be bearish, if we're going to get like a little bit of a sell-off tonight going into tomorrow morning, then I would expect, Bitcoin probably come down to the 200 moving average on the 1-hour time frame, which is sitting at about 111,397. That could be our final support. I also wouldn't be surprised if we come down to 112K. 112K was an area that it was a previous all-time high from back in May of earlier this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually came down to that 112K area on Bitcoin. I'm actually in a short on Bitcoin just for this afternoon and this evening. And I might flip bullish again if Bitcoin actually does cool down and come down to lower prices here. I feel like if Bitcoin does come down to lower prices this evening, it's just another buying opportunity in my opinion. Okay. But I figure I'd make a little bit of money as we do start coming down here on Bitcoin and doing kind of like a sell-off. The late longs are getting punished right now. People who are day trading, trying to push the price of Bitcoin up, they showed up late to the party. The time to get in was actually around like 7 o'clock in the morning, or even 8 o'clock. Before that, the numbers came out at 8:30, and that's where we got the pump up. We got a pump up at that 8 o'clock mark, where we went up 1% on Bitcoin, and then we went up another 0.5% around 9 a.m. when Wall Street got involved. And then that's been it. You know, now Wall Street's kind of like selling off because we hit that 4-hour 200 moving average. Okay, that red line right there. But anyways, let me get into the live chat, see what you guys have to say, what your thoughts are about cryptocurrencies, and we can talk about stocks too, but I love talking about crypto here. I see Duality C's in the chat. Good to see you. Thank you for letting people know that we need to smash that like button, and also subscribing and sharing if you guys know anybody else that is interested in looking at the charts here and talking about crypto and stocks. By all means, go ahead and share this live stream with your friends and family who could use a little bit of help understanding what's going on with the markets here. That's what I'm here for, to help you guys figure out where the market might go next. And then I also see Kevin Hawthorne. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you as well. And then I see Ricky M saying what's up. Good to see you guys in here. All right. And then let's see. I'm also doing a TikTok live stream. That's why you guys see this phone right here in front of me. And I'm also live streaming for my TikTok guys. Let me see what you guys have to say here. Catching up on the chat. Alexi is saying, do you see crypto rising in the same day when rates get cut? I think crypto's going to rise leading up to the rate cuts going into next week. We have the interest rate decision next Wednesday. You can see that Bitcoin's already rising up going into that meeting. When the meeting actually happens, it's kind of like up in the air, because if they do a 50 basis point cut, that's actually good for the long term for crypto and the stock market. But in the short term, the stock market and even the crypto bros, they might panic as to like, why did the Federal Reserve feel the need to drop interest rates by like 50 basis points, which is, you know, for those who don't know, that's a half a point, you know, 0.5%. That could scare them, thinking that, you know, maybe the Federal Reserve is behind the ball and things are worse than what they're telling us out there. So I think they'll do like a 0.25 basis point, 25 basis point rate cut. And I think the market might still sell off because they're going to get what they want and they're going to want to know what comes next. It all depends. We could pump up after they cut interest rates if they give us kind of like, if they throw us a little bit of bone and say, hey, we're cutting now and we're going to cut again, and then maybe cut again and again. Okay, that would be very bullish and that would cause the market to go up. But if they just cut and they leave us in limbo land as like if they're going to cut again the following month, that might not be good enough, and we might actually sell. We might sell off on next Wednesday temporarily, and then the market might decide to continue running the ball, especially if they get wind that interest rates are going to be cut again. They'll just have to look at the data, like the inflation reports and the jobs report, to kind of figure out if they're going to continue pumping up these markets here. All right, let's see. Does fair value gap always mitigate, is what Cursing is saying. Let's see. Are we looking at the fair value gap? What time frame are you looking at, and what asset? Are we talking about Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame? I mean, there is a fair value gap now, right? Between 112,900 and, you know, currently where we're at right now. Bitcoin might want to come down and mitigate that and cover up that fair value gap before we go up to higher prices again. That's why I'm in a short on Bitcoin, because I think we might have to cool off a little bit after getting a little bit ahead of ourselves and getting excited. And we also hit that 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. I think is going to act as resistance for now. We'll see if we could try to gain some support as we go into the evening and late night hours going into tomorrow morning. We might try to get back up to the 200 moving average and get above it and try to use it as support, but we'll see. I think right now we should be focusing on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, and right now we're getting rejected off the 200 moving average, and we could come down to the 100 moving average at 112,100. And we could also cover up this fair value gap at like the $112,500 area. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, I think $112,500 Bitcoin. I wouldn't be surprised if we come down to that area. Cursing says the 200 EMA, is it support or resistant? I don't use a 200 EMA. I use a 200 smooth moving. I'm sorry, a simple moving average. It's not an EMA. It's just a regular simple moving average. But yeah, that 200 moving average is acting as resistance right now on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, that's what I'm using. Cursing is a simple moving average. My moving averages go like this. So like the 21 EMA exponential moving average is the white line. Then the 50 moving average is the green line. The 100 moving average is blue, and the 200 moving average is red. And that's a 200 simple moving average. All right, let me get back in the chat here with my YouTube guys. You got YouTube guys. You guys are being kind of quiet over there. If you guys have any requests, let's go ahead and start looking at the requests here for some of these cryptos here. I know one that did pretty well today out of the higher market cap cryptocurrencies is AVAX. Let's take a look at AVAX right now. AVAX is currently trading at $28.56, up 10% today. Congratulations to the AVAX investors out there. Let's get into the daily time frame. I have charted out here on AVAX that AVAX was in a symmetrical triangle. If you connect the wicks here, and also, you know, just connecting the bottom, the higher lows here, you see that AVAX was in a symmetrical triangle, and I was expecting, you know, at the very latest we get resolution to get out of this symmetrical triangle by the end of September here. But it looks like AVAX is ready to get out of the triangle right now, and this is taking us up to almost the 1272 Fibonacci extension here. I would expect $30.59 to be a resistance for AVAX going forward, just using the Fibonacci here. But it's very good to see that AVAX actually got above the high here that it did back in July. So AVAX is finally doing some things here. Some very good things here. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if AVAX kind of sells off here with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to sell off going into tonight and tomorrow morning, I would expect AVAX probably to come down, and if it does, it could be coming down pretty hard towards the, you know, the basically down to this downtrend line here, this yellow line here, where we could see AVAX get down to like 26 bucks all over again, kind of bounce off of this, and then head up to higher prices after we retest the downtrend here on the lower highs for AVAX. Wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Okay. Let's go into the 1-hour time frame for AVAX, see what that looks like. Yeah, 1-hour time frame, although AVAX is above most of the moving averages here. You do have the 21 EMA on the 1-hour time frame, could act as support at $27 here. I wouldn't be surprised if AVAX does come down to lower prices, especially if Bitcoin does. And we are still overbought here on AVAX on the 1-hour time frame. We have a 69 on the RSI. That's kind of just under overbought, but I wouldn't be surprised if we come down lower for AVAX. You can see that the MACD is also trending downward here. We're getting less buying pressure now after topping off at 12 o'clock in the afternoon here. East Coast time, Eastern time here. We're now here at 3 o'clock, and we're seeing the buying pressure die down. So that's the trend as of now. Stochastic RSI on the 1-hour time frame is still relatively high, but it is coming down as well. Okay, and then also here on the market cipher B, we did have a red dot that showed that there was going to be a good time to sell your AVAX was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. So with that red dot, you know, the next dot should be a green buying dot, but we don't know when that's going to come in yet. But when you see the green buying dot come in on the 1-hour time frame on market cipher B for AVAX, that usually gives you a hint when you can start buying back in again on AVAX and get a better price here. I think the better prices for AVAX would be like 27 bucks or even 26 bucks, somewhere in that area. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of do like a round trip, create a higher low, but then go up to higher prices after that. Kursang says you got rugged on AVAX because one guy told you it will go down. That's unfortunate. I'm not sure why that guy thought AVAX would go down, because we were making higher lows on the 1 hour time frame ever since early this Sunday. AVAX was at 24 bucks and you were making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then you finally got the breakout. Once you got out of this once you got past this high here at $26.36, and you got past this this downtrend here, okay, you came back, you retested it. You can see that they did the retest around 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they launched it, okay. Then it came back down. We almost came back for another retest here at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you got that hammer candle, okay. This is like the handle, and then this body is the hammer that actually hits the nail, okay. That was signifying that there was a lot of buying pressure over here for AVAX, and then you got the breakout rally going into like 8 o'clock this morning. Okay, so AVAX is primed and ready to go to higher prices. Just looking at the 1 hour time frame here. But I mean, AVAX has been making steady higher lows all throughout the last few weeks here. Okay, if I go back into like the daily time frame here, I'm not sure why your buddy thought it was gonna go down, because you were making higher lows here, okay? And as long as you continue making higher lows, you can continue being bullish on this asset. Sure, yeah, you were making lower highs here on AVAX, compared to what you did on July 28th, and then you had a lower high on August 23rd. But just because you're making lower highs doesn't mean that it's going to go down. You have to start making lower highs and lower lows, and that's where your buddy was wrong, because we were making higher lows on the daily time frame, so you could still remain bullish until you lose this uptrend. If we had lost this uptrend, if AVAX came down to like 23 bucks or even $22, then I'd be like, oh yeah, it looks like AVAX wants to go down rather than go up, okay? Because now you're making a lower low than what you did here on September 1st. If you go down to like 22, 21 bucks, yeah, then you lose this uptrend, and then you could be like, all right, there might be something wrong with AVAX. But there was nothing wrong with AVAX. It was still making higher lows here. Granted, it was making lower highs, but hey, we got the resolution now. We just made a higher high than we did here on July 28th, and we did that today. So yeah, hey, it happens. Sometimes people get things wrong, but if you stick to the charts, which is what I try to do here, I mean, I wouldn't have. It could have gone either way. It could have gone up or down, but because we were still making higher lows, and Bitcoin was also getting some momentum here, I would have avoided trying to say that it's gonna go down. I would have avoided trying to sell. I wouldn't have sold all of it, to be honest. But anyways, you live and you learn. Jesus is talking about AVAX. Yeah, we're talking about AVAX right now. And you are listening to a TikTok influencer by the name of Jam. Yeah, you gotta be careful with these TikTok influencers. Now, I know, granted, I'm on TikTok myself, but you gotta be careful who you listen to, because sometimes they don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole story myself either, but I stick to the charts as best as I can to give me, a little bit of an edge as to like what's gonna happen next. And even if I wasn't sure if AVAX is going to go up or down, I wouldn't have sold all of it. I would have maybe sold maybe half or a portion of it. Because just in case you're wrong, which in this case, that guy was wrong, just in case you're wrong, at least you got skin in the game and you can benefit from AVAX going up, 9% today. So that's just a a matter of risk management and managing your position and your portfolio. Just because you listen to one guy says it could go down, I wouldn't just immediately sell everything that I have in that asset. I would probably sell some, and then if that person's wrong after listening to her advice, then at least you can still benefit from the thing going up when the person said it was going to go down. Lucas Silva wants to talk about Solana. Yeah, we can talk about Solana. Solana did some good things today too. Kurz saying you're on a short on Avalanche. I would be careful shorting Avalanche. I think maybe if Bitcoin goes down tonight, you can ride that out. But I would get out of the short before you go to bed, because if we get another good report tomorrow morning with the CPI, your short could get blown out of the water, and I wouldn't really be playing around like that. Matter of fact, even I'm in a short on Bitcoin myself, and I'm not gonna go to bed shorting Bitcoin. I'm gonna close out my short before I go to bed, and I'm gonna look at the charts and see what the news is tomorrow morning before I get back in a long or a short. That's just how I run things. Alright, let's take a look at Solana. Solana is currently trading at $221. Congratulations, Solana. You finally made it up to the 618 Fibonacci retracement at $219. That yellow number right there. And we actually came up to the golden pocket at 0.65 at $225 Solana. So 225.73 is a number I've been looking for Solana. We actually got up a little bit above that, 225.96 here on Coinbase Exchange. So Solana did the thing. I think Solana is doing just fine. I kind of have to redraw the trend lines now. Okay. I mean, I guess I could keep it like this, but I could also move it up and connect this wick here. And Solana's still in a rising wedge here, which could break out. Most of the time, it breaks out to the downside. But there's still a possibility that it could break out to the upside. You can never be 100% sure on anything. Alright? So, and because you can't be 100% sure, that's why you can't sell everything, and you can't just go crazy and buy everything either. You gotta take it day by day. And with day trading, well, you take it like hour by hour, minute by minute, sometimes even second by second. Yes, Kurt saying there is a CPI report tomorrow, same time as today. You know, the CPI report is going to be 8:30 in the morning tomorrow morning. All right, let me just go back in the Forex Factory here. Let's see. We have for tomorrow. I got to change the date for tomorrow. And we're expecting CPI report. We're expecting a 0.3% inflation. Last month we had 0.2%. They're actually expecting a little bit more. If we get 0.3%, that should be fine. I think we'll still get the interest rate cut next week. If we get something lower than 0.3, it depends how much lower. But if we get like 0.2 or 0.1, the market's gonna like that, because that means we're definitely gonna get the interest rate cut. And we might even hear talks of them talking about a 50 basis point cut. If we get a negative number like we did with the PPI, then the market's really going to love that. We'll definitely get a pop-up in the morning. So I would not be shorting, to be honest with you, tomorrow morning, just in case we do get a negative number on the CPI. And then we have to start worrying about, like, is the economy starting to deteriorate if we're actually getting deflation here. Okay. I mean, it's going to be good temporarily for the markets, but it could signal some warning signs. They might like that. They might not like that. And then also unemployment claims comes out tomorrow morning as well. They're expecting 235,000 unemployment claims. If that number is significantly higher, that also justifies them lowering interest rates as well. Okay. All right, back to Solana. So Solana, if it continues going to higher prices, I'm expecting Solana to try to make its way back up to $250. That blue area, that 0.786 retracement level here. Okay. which is the level that people were selling Solana and buying Solana in November. So whoever bought Solana in November last year at 250 bucks, they're probably going to click the sell button when it gets back to 250 bucks because it's been almost a year and they've been underwater on their investment. Same thing with the people who bought here in January at 250 bucks. They're probably going to click the sell button as well and maybe just break even and try to do something else with their money. Okay, I'm expecting some resistance at 250 for Solana in that area, that ballpark range. All right. Appreciate Kurt saying you sending me a rose on the live stream here for my TikTok. And hi Sydney, thank you for liking the stream and following me. Appreciate the new follow, thank you. If you have a request for a stock or a crypto, you can put that in. We'll take a look at whatever stocks and cryptos you guys want to look at. I definitely see that, Sydney. You are new here. Thank you for coming on to the live stream. I usually go live every day in the afternoons, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. I didn't go live at 12 p.m. Eastern time today because I had to pick up a car from the mechanic and switch some cars out for my rental car business. But here I am now. You know, I got done with the cars and I was able to fit in a live stream here. But yeah, you can see me here just about every afternoon. If you want to catch me during your lunch break, or I'm not even sure where you're from. Could be morning, could be, you know, in the evening for you. I know sometimes I get people from like Europe, Germany, and England. They come into the live stream because it's like 6 o'clock their time, and they're checking me out after they get out of work and get done with school if they're in school. But anyways, yeah, Solana. I think Solana's doing fine. Let's see. I think if Solana does come down for any reason, it could come down to this green level here at 195 bucks. Is the 0.5 retracement level here. But honestly, I think Solana is still going to try to maintain the uptrend here. If it was to come down right now, like literally right now, towards that uptrend, it would have to come down to like $206, and it would still maintain the uptrend as long as it stays about $206. You also got the 21 EMA, the exponential moving average, could act as support at $203.91. That's that white number right here. This number right here, sitting at 203.91. All right, D2 Miami wants to look at PIF, and Sydney's from Florida. Nice. You get that good weather for the longest time. I used to live down in Florida myself, just south of Kissimmee. There's a town called Poinciana. Yeah, I used to live in Florida for a little bit. Nice. Yeah, you could always go to the beach in January and February. Sometimes it gets a little bit cold, like it'll get a little bit like frosty in the morning. It'll get like maybe 45, 50 degrees in the morning, and then it'll be like 70 degrees later on that afternoon in that Florida weather. I think Miami's the only one that actually stays in the 70s in January. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at PIF here. Actually, cursing. What are you asking about? You're asking about downtrend. It's from high to low. And then you're saying you don't really understand Fibonacci drawing. Well, I'll do a Fibonacci on PIF so we can understand it better here. Well, let's look at PIF network, and I'll draw a Fibonacci on that one so you can hopefully follow along and understand how to draw the Fibonacci here. So I already have a Fibonacci for PIF, but I'll redraw this here again. Let me just delete that one. Okay, so with PIF, right, we had this impulse move here, and then we kind of bled out over the past few days here for PIF network. What I can do is I can measure the swing low, the swing high, and literally like the swing low is going to be like probably the bottom of this green candle here at like 11.5 cents. And I'm going to measure to the top of this wick here, this candle at 25 cents. So what I do, right, I go to Fib retracement, and I measure from top to bottom. down to 11.5 cents here. Okay. Oh, I just did an extra one by accident. Okay. Alright, can you stop it with that? I need to go back to here. Okay. Alright, so the reason why I draw top to bottom is because I want these Fibonacci extensions to the upside here. If I drew the Fibonacci going the other way from bottom to top, I mean, sure, the levels are almost the same. Oh god, I keep messing that up here. Alright, the levels are almost the same on the Fibonacci, but when you go from bottom to top, the Fibonacci extensions are to the downside. And that's not really useful for me if I'm trying to long it, but it is useful if I'm trying to do a short. I'll do bottom to top like that. Anyways, that's how I draw the Fibonacci real quick. And if you need to learn more about the Fibonacci levels, like the 0.236, the 0.32, the golden pocket at 618, the 786 retracement, I do have a video about Fibonacci on my YouTube channel. You might want to check out my YouTube here. Meet Damien on YouTube. Go with the videos here. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see, you know, I have a video here on how to use the Fibonacci tool on TradingView. Okay. It's about like a 20-minute video, but I teach you guys how to do the Fibonacci and how to trade with it, what I look for when I'm trading it. I also got another video here about the VRVP indicator, which is another indicator that I use. Might be worth taking a look at. And if your brand's making new to trading, I do have a chart here on how to read a candlestick chart, how to read the RSI, the MACD, and the stochastic RSI. So I got some good videos there on my YouTube channel. The VRVP indicator video I think is also on TikTok. I know that. I can't remember if I actually uploaded the Fibonacci video to TikTok. It might be in there somewhere. But anyways, let's get back to PIF Network. Okay. We have some levels to look for here for PIF. Currently trading at 16, almost 17 cents here, up 2.9% today. And PIF took the retracement from 25 cents all the way down to the deep retracement of the 0.236 level here at roughly about 15 cents, 0.1478 pennies. We came down to that to the T. Looks like we came down to that here on Friday, last Friday, where we came down to like 0.146 pennies on PIF. And that would have been a good buy zone to get involved here with PIF. Immediately the next day, you went up 12% after you hit that level. You came up to the 0.382 level before you kind of like flagged out a little bit. And now we're trying to get above this 0.382 level here at that 16.167 pennies here. And today we kind of went bonkers a little bit. We actually jumped up to the 0.5 retracement at 18 cents here. But I think you know, we just got to continue making higher lows and higher highs here, steady as she goes, and I would expect PIF to try to get up to 18 cents and use it as support rather than resistance. And then if it could start doing that, then maybe we can try to make our way up to this golden pocket level at 19-20 cents here. Okay, I think that's your upside target for PIF in the near future here. And then later on in 2025, it would be nice to see if we can get back up to 22 cents and 25 cents here. But we'll take it one level at a time here. If PIF loses its momentum to the upside, you could come back down and revisit this 0.226 level all over again at 14 pennies, 15 pennies here. But that could just be a buying opportunity. That still puts you above the 20-day moving average, that red line here. That 20-day moving average would act as support if we did go lower than 14 cents here. It's actually sitting at 0.138 pennies there. But there's no guarantee that we'll actually come down to that level. That's why I play this by level here, guys. Okay, especially with the Fibonacci. If I'm bearish, I'm looking for the next level below us. If I'm bullish, I'm looking for the next level above us on the Fibonacci. Okay, right now we're just hanging out at 0.382 on PIF, so we can either be bullish and go to 0.5, or we can be bearish and we go to the 0.236 level. And you know, if we're bearish and we come down to this level, I would be looking for longs if we came down here, especially if I'm day trading this. And then if we came up to higher prices here, or even to like the 618 retracement, I would start looking for shorts once we get into this area, okay? And keep my stop loss relatively tight in case I'm wrong and we continue going up to higher prices. Alright, thank you D2 Miami for liking the live. Guys, if you could hit that like button for me, I appreciate that. On TikTok, if you double tap the screen, that's how you do. That's how you give me the like here. Sydney says, "Oh, it's 50 degrees. Wow, 50 degrees down in Florida right now." Oh, or are you saying that that's how cold it can get in like January? Okay, yeah. Sydney says she doesn't understand Fibonacci either. I might, if I haven't done a Fibonacci video here on TikTok, I might have to upload it on TikTok. Let me take a look at my TikTok real quick here. For my YouTube guys, if you want to see me on TikTok, you can find me and come join the 5,000 followers here on TikTok. It looks like I put the refresh button here, but my videos normally do show up here. This thing is being difficult. I think I have to take my VPN off here real quick. But yeah, let's see. Come on, VPN, load up, will ya? Hey, let me try clicking the refresh button, see if that fixes it. Alright, there we go. There's my videos. Alright, so yeah, in my TikTok, if you scroll down, I think I did a video on the VRVP indicator. That one had like 1,400 views, I believe. Like right here, this is my VRVP indicator video. That's a good video to watch. About 60 minutes long here on TikTok. Well, and then I'm not sure where I put that Fibonacci video. That might be buried in there somewhere. Yeah, I wonder if like if you type in like Meet Damien TikTok, you might be able to see or Meet Damien Fibonacci. Maybe it might come up. It looks like I'm gonna have to upload that video. If it's not on here, I'll have to upload it. But I will try to upload a Fibonacci tutorial video onto TikTok to help you guys out here. For those who are trying to understand Fibonacci. Cursing says sometimes. Cursing says we cannot always believe the market's going to go up. Sometimes it may go down. So we also need a side value. So I play level by level. Okay, especially with the Fibonacci. But yeah, if we were to come down on PIF Network, I would expect us to at least come down to this 0.236 level, where you have a daily candle here that provided support at that level. And then upside, we now have some data here. It looks like we did come up to the 0.5 retracement. I would expect the 0.5 retracement to act as resistance, like it already did earlier today for PIF Network. Alright, let's move on from PIF. Let's take a look at some other cryptos here. I haven't had anybody request XRP. Should I look at XRP or should I look at Ethereum? Ethereum hasn't really been doing anything the last few days, but Ethereum, I think, actually, just because it's not doing anything now doesn't mean you can't do something later. I think it's just trying to build up some support here at $4,300 before it launches off to higher prices here. I do have an Ethereum long on one of the exchanges I trade on, and I'm just waiting for Ethereum to launch up. We lost the subtrend, so I can get rid of this line for now. But just measuring previous Fibonacci analysis on Ethereum, I think Ethereum can get up to like back to $4,800 like it did earlier in August. And then I think the 1618 level shows that we could see Ethereum get up to like $5,800. I think for my leverage long on Ethereum, I'm targeting about $4,800. I think Ethereum could do that. It could do that in like one day. D2 Miami does want to look at XRP, and then we got Chiyama is asking about near protocol. All right, let's take a look at XRP. So looking at XRP, currently trading at $2.97. XRP has been in a downtrend ever since the middle of July here. Right there, just connect the candle wick highs here. You got you have a high here, then a lower high in the middle of August, and then this could be considered another lower high if we don't start making higher highs here, okay? But this downtrend is acting as resistance, and you can see that we came up to it, right? We came up to it yesterday, and then we came up to it again today, and we got kind of rejected. This is also the golden pocket level, that 0.65 level at $3.04. Let's see, we came up to $3.02 here today. Just not good enough. We got to get to 304 and stop treating it like resistance and start using it as support. But as of now, you're still in the downtrend for XRP. And if XRP is going to lose its momentum to the upside, then yeah, we could come on down to lower prices here. And lose, well, we're already below $3 right now on XRP, but how much lower could it go? We could come out to this 0.5 retracement at $2.78. It was a level that we kind of hovered around at towards the end of August, first week of September here. You also got the 50 moving average. This green line could act as support, and that's sitting at 272. So I think between 272 and like 282 is a good area to put in some buy orders in for XRP, see if you get filled, right? If XRP does come down to those prices, you know, we might have to do this one more time before we try to break out of this this downtrend that we're in. However, if XRP is going to get bullish, if we get a good CPI report that shows that the Federal Reserve is most likely going to lower interest rate, then I would expect us to get past the golden pocket level in a hurry, because we're like right there. And I would expect us to get up to the 786 retracement at that $3.28 level here. And then I would then see if we're going to see XRP revisit the $3.66 level like we did here on July 21st. So those are your upside targets for now in the short term for XRP. But I still hold on to the long-term targets that we could see XRP get to the 1618 at $4.74. And then we got the 2618 saying that maybe later on in 2025 we see $6.50 XRP. And then for you moon boys out there, we do have a 3618 that says XRP could get up to $8.26. Not sure when, but it's there. It's on the chart. It says it's possible. Alright, let's move on to near protocol. And I think I saw Mar show up in the chat. Hey Mar, how you doing? It's been a while. I know you try to come on to the live stream whenever you can. I've been going, I think, a little bit earlier, and that's why I haven't seen you show up. But it's good to see you on the stream here today. I got you. All right, looking at near protocol. Near protocol currently trading at $2.66, up 1.25% today. And Nair looks like kind of like similar with, you know, similar downtrend with XRP. You get that here with Nair protocol. You were making lower high. You got a high here in July 21st, $3.10. Then a lower high, slightly lower high at $3.04 on August 13th. And now you're once again here. Are you able to start making higher highs? Okay, I want to see near protocol start making higher highs. I like the fact that you're above the 200 moving average. This red line here, you're above the 200 moving average. Anytime you get above the 200 moving average, I can be bullish rather than bearish on the asset. If you're below the 200 moving average, I have to be bearish as my bias before I can become bullish again. Okay, so you're above the 200 moving average. There might be some hope here. Next thing you need to do is you need to get above probably this high here on August 24th at 278. get above that, that would signify that you're actually making higher highs here and you're in an uptrend, and then you just gotta make a higher low, then another higher high. And yeah, we got to get above the highs here in August and the highs here in July. I want to see this thing get up to like $3.10 and signify that we're actually in an uptrend and in a bull market. But I have looked at this chart before. I have previous chart work showing $3.37 could be a problem zone for near protocol, and that's because you have back here in February, you have some resistance, okay, where we came up to this 337 level. Also, that 337 level was acting as support for the most part back here in September 2024. Hey, what's going on here? All right, my chart kind of got broken up a little bit. And you can see back here in November of 2022, 337 was acting as resistance. So 337 is a area that you have to pay attention to for near protocol in the future here. This would be an area where I would expect near protocol to get sold off, okay? And I have measured this move, you know, now I have to kind of adjust the line here. But if we were to go up to 337 from where we are right now, that's still a 25% move up in price for near protocol. If you're a leverage trader, slap on some 10x leverage, that's a 250% gain, okay? But yeah, I like the promising signs that I see here with near protocol. Let's go ahead and look at the oscillators, see if there's anything interesting there. Look at the RSI. You're barely making higher lows here. I would like to see a higher high on the RSI compared to what you did here in August. And then as far as like buying pressure on the MACD, you are starting to get a little bit of buying pressure, so that's good to see here for near protocol. I would also want to see more buying pressure than we did here back in the middle of August. I would actually, ideally, I would like to see the buying pressure get as high as what it did here in July. We'll see. We'll see. And then over on the stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is high, but it can stay high. Okay? There's no reason why it has to go down. But if it does go down, we're going to pay attention to that, because it possibly could mean that we're making a lower high for near protocol. And then as far as like market cipher B, market cipher B did show that you had a green buy dot here on Sunday, September 7th, meaning that that was the day to buy some near protocol, and you would have caught some of that upside this week. And what you're waiting for is, if you see a red sell dot come in, then that probably means the move has been made, and you might get a few bad days. But so far, we haven't had a red dot show up on the daily time frame for near protocol, so I think you're still good until you see that show up on the chart. Like I said, you know, that green buy dot came in on Sunday when near protocol was at $2.40, and you could have caught this slight move up here had you listened to that green buy dot, right? That dot right there came in right around Sunday for near protocol. Duality loves the music. Duality, I actually am listening to this music. It's like 6 hours of copyright-free music, and this is the it's on a YouTube channel. You go to Salamis Seneca and you type in Nexus Secrets Beneath the Neon Sky. This is what the thumbnail looks like to the video, but it's like a dark and goth synthwave mix, and you get like 6 hours of music here if you want to listen to the music on your own time. It's like good music to listen to if you're studying or doing something on the computer. I like listening to it. I think it keeps the live stream lively here. CC007 is in the chat. I see you, CC. Good to see you. It's good to see some of the people that I normally don't see, because I've been going live early in the afternoon, and I just know, like, I just know that some people aren't able to make the live stream early in the afternoon, so I'm glad I was able to go live a little bit later this afternoon. See some faces I haven't seen in a while here. Mara thinks my music sounds like Pokemon Go music. Hey, you know, I think it sounds like 80s retro music. You know, like I feel like I'm in the 80s listening to this music. I was born in the 80s. So I don't really know too much about what it was like to be jamming out to 80s music, but I remember listening to 80s music when I was growing up as a kid in the 90s. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we got that Pokemon Go music for you guys. Near Protocol. Let me just I want to get into like the 4-hour time frame. See what Near Protocol looks like on the 4-hour time frame. If Near Protocol starts going down for any reason, we could get a bounce off of this 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. That's sitting at like $2.57. It helps to use different time frames. I know, like, I usually go in the daily time frame. They give you like the bigger picture here, guys. But some other good time frames to look at is like the 4-hour time frame. Is used by a lot of traders and investors out there, and they definitely use the 200 moving average, which is this red line, and they use that 50 moving average, which is this green line. I also put in the 100 moving average. Sometimes you get a bounce off of that level. And then the 21 EMA is this white line. If this thing was extremely bullish, it would just come down to the white line and then bounce off and never go below it. Okay, that's how you know you're in a really good bull trend, and you probably shouldn't be shorting if that's the case. Okay. And then another time frame that's useful for traders and investors, and yeah, another good time frame that people like to use for traders and investors that are in it for the long term is like the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame is probably good if you're trying to find like a good entry to get into on that particular day. You can like look at the candles and you can see like, all right, so you got a higher low here, a higher low. It looks like we're about to make a higher low again here on Near Protocol. You can buy right now and then put a stop loss below this last low right here. If you're like swing trading it or even day trading it, you could put those stop losses in. If you're in it for the long term, if you're a long-term investor, you're probably not putting in stop losses, but it's probably still a good idea to put a stop loss. And if you're a long-term investor, I would probably look at the daily time frame, and then I would look at the last low like we did here on September 1st, and I would put the stop loss there at 226 if I was a long-term investor and not day trading or swing trading it. But if I'm swing trading it or day trading it, I'd be going into the 1-hour time frame, trying to figure out where I could put that stop loss at, make it a little bit tighter. Because like here, you could probably put your stop loss at 260 instead of like 226, like the long-term investor would do. Duality is asking me, am I streaming on X? And if so, what is my name? You want to download it? I don't stream on X. I probably should start if I could. I don't have that big of a following on Twitter, X. But let's just look at my X here, guys. If you want to stay connected with me on Twitter, okay. If something happens to TikTok or YouTube, you can still stay in touch with me here on Twitter. Well, you got Meet Damien. That's my Meet Damien Twitter page right there. And sometimes it's helpful to go on here, and if you're not sure when I'm going to go live, I post up when I'm going live. Like today's live stream is posted up right here. This was yesterday's live stream. I put up some funny, some memes here, or some motivational memes whenever I can. But I also put up some funny stuff too. Like Jerome Powell's about to print out that money soon here, guys. Cutting rates later on this month. This is going to be Jerome Powell next week. Yeah. We're all just waiting for that. But yeah, this is where I usually post up when I'm going live. So it's good to find me on Twitter here. And you can also message me here on Twitter as well. Alright. D2 Miami. Are you asking for XPR or XRP? Because we already looked at XRP. Is this a request for XPR, or did you just misspell XRP? XPR. Okay, you want to look at XPR. Alright. I'll go ahead and take a look at that. Let's get back in the daily time frame here. Look at XPR. Yeah, sure. Mexi exchange. Looking at XPR network, currently trading at 0.0064 pennies, up 2% today. Let's see. I'm looking at the daily chart for XPR. Trying to zoom out. Looking at this chart, I don't have any previous chart work on here, so I think this is relatively new to me. I have heard about it though. I just don't get too many people requesting it. But XPR, interesting. Okay. Looks like you caught the bids here in July, like a lot of other cryptos did, and you caught some more bids here in August. So you're kind of just like making bull flags. Like this was a bull flag. This is kind of like a bull flag. I just have to zoom in a little bit more. These candlewick highs here are very interesting and scammy to me. It just means there's a lot of selling pressure every time you get up to like 80,000. Over here you got up to like 80,000 on the dot and you got sold off, so that's something to pay attention to. Okay, in the near future here, if you get up to like 80,000 on XPR, could be some sell pressure over there. Hey, what is that? I don't want to do that. Alright, okay. So we'll see. What I could do is I could do a quick Fibonacci measuring from the candlewick high here down to the impulse move here. Let's see what that does for a Fibonacci. Dude, why is this thing doing this to me? Okay. So what do we got here for levels here? Well, so we're kind of hanging out near the 0.5 retracement at 65,900. I would expect this to at least try to get back up to that golden pocket level at 70,000 and 71,000. That's your next upside target for XPR. To the downside, we could come down to XPR to lower prices where that 21 white EMA is at 60,000, which is confluent with the 0.382 retracement here at 61,000. So you might be able to get some cheaper prices if we do come down to those lower levels here. Another level to be on the lookout for is this 0.236 retracement at 55,900, which is confluent with a lot of days here that we're trading at 55,000, 56, 57,000, somewhere in that ballpark area. And then going to the upside, you know, we'll see if we can get past 80,000. Be quick to click the sell button if you can. I would probably put a limit order at 80,000 because I think somebody here, one of the whales, is trying to push the price down every time it gets up to 80,000 here. Lock this in. All right. But if we do go up to higher prices past 80,000, you got the 1272 saying that we could get up to 95,000. And then you got the 1618 saying that we can get up to 1 penny here on XPR network. Hey, I see Darren's in the chat. Good to see you, Darren. How you doing? How's your kids doing? How's your son and daughter? How's the wife? How is life? Don Jump is in the chat, and Xiaomi. Yeah, we did look at your request, Xiaomi, right? We looked at their protocol. Xiaomi wants to now look at Quantum. Okay. Alright, I guess we can take a look at Quantum. What's the ticker symbol for Quantum? I want to make sure I get the right one. I'm pretty sure if I type in Quantum, there's going to be like a whole bunch of like stocks and crypto named Quantum. I'll just type in Quantum and then USD and see what comes up. I think you're looking for a cryptocurrency, right? QNT? Okay. Yeah, see, if I type in quantum, there is a quantum USDT. Let's see, ticker symbol QNT USD. We got on Kraken here. Okay, let's take a look at on Kraken. So hopefully this is the correct quantum that you're looking for, the QNT. This is on Kraken Exchange, trading at $100.02, up 2.6% today. And what do we got here for quantum? Oh, actually I have looked at this one already. I have some previous chart work here. I measured a level to look out for, $128 to the upside here. Has acted as resistance in the past, back here in August and also here in June. And I think this is also acting as resistance here in December. Yeah. So I think this level is a level for you to look out for. If we do go up there, get ready to click the sell button because other people are eyeballing that level as well. Okay. But right now, quantum, it's above 200-day moving average. Thankfully, you can see we came below the 200-day moving average yesterday. Came as low as $91.46. But you got yourself kind of a hammer candle. It would be better if it didn't have a wick up top. You got a wick up top and a wick below, but the wick below is very long, so you got a lot of buying pressure that came in as soon as you got below this 200-day moving average. That's good to see. That gives me a little bit confidence that, you know, as long as we get this green bullish engulfing candle here and some more follow through, you can probably put your stop loss below the candle wick low here, knowing that there's going to be people here to buy it up before it even gets down to that level. Okay, we couldn't even stay down there for more than one day. Like, we came down there yesterday and came right back up. We ended the day at $97.49. And then today, here we are, we're up about a couple more bucks past that $97 level there. So you're doing quite fine, and that's good to see. This gives me some hope. And maybe this might be the bottom. This might be the bottom for quantum. Let's see if we're getting any bullish divergence showing up here with the RSI. 37 here. 30, so not bullish divergence on the daily time frame. That's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that there would be some divergence, but there is none. They might be on the 1 hour or 4 hour time frame, but it'd be a lot better if it was on the daily time frame. MACD showing less selling pressure. That's good to see as well. Stochastic RSI is relatively low, so maybe this could be the bottom. You have room to go to the upside because of the stochastic RSI being low. And then you did have a red dot here on Tuesday. Yesterday, actually. That's interesting. That means you should actually be careful, because after a red dot on the daily time frame, there should be some more selling pressure, which would be today or tomorrow. But if you see that green buy dot, which is going to usually come after the red dot, if you see a green buy dot come in, then that gives you further confirmation that this thing wants to go up rather than go down. At least according to the market cipher B indicator on the daily time frame here. And you can see, like, it can be confusing sometimes. It can be confusing sometimes here, because you can get a green dot and then the next day red dot, and then like the next day a green dot, and then the next day a red dot. So like that could be confusing and a little bit irritating. But the reason why you get those green red dots, like look at this, you got a green dot here on August 29th, and then you got a red dot on the 30th, and then a green dot here on 31st, and then a red dot here on the 1st, and that was just all this sideways choppiness, chopping people up, and eventually you did come down, created the bear flag, and then you came down some more. So you can't just rely on market cipher B indicator by itself, but it is a cheat sheet, and when you don't have this craziness going on here, it usually does tell you, like, hey, be careful when you get the red dot, but then you can be optimistic when you get the green dot showing up. Maybe if we get like another green day here, you'll start to see a green dot show up here on market cipher B. All right, so I think as far as like low, downside targets for quantum, stay above the 200-day moving average at $96 and you'll be fine. If you lose it, you're gonna see if this candle wick low is gonna act as support at $91.46. And then to the upside, as we continue going up to the upside, in the short term, you might get rejected off the 100-day moving average at $102. But I would expect more people probably to click the sell button when you get up to that $109 level where that 50-day moving average is sitting at. I think that's going to be your short-term target, $109 on quantum. And then going forward, you could get some resistance here at $119 like you did here on August and also here in July. And of course, I still think $128 is going to be a problem area. It should be a sell target, upside target, take profit target at $128. All right. Whew, man, I think we had a pretty good live stream so far. I kind of want to look at Bitcoin again, and I think I might be on the way out after that. Bitcoin kind of climbing up a little bit here. I see you, John316. Blessings to you as well. Smash the like button if you guys haven't done so already. Alright. Bitcoin at $113,700. We looked at Bitcoin in the beginning of this live stream. And I guess I'll go over the targets here, upside and downside. So to the upside, I think Bitcoin could get up to like 114,400 or 115,000, which is the golden pocket level on the Fibonacci retracement here. Then maybe we might see 118,900 going into next week. Downside target, we could see Bitcoin come back to 112K, which was the all-time high back here in May. We saw Bitcoin get up to 112K. And now let me go into the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to show you guys what Bitcoin's kind of bumping up its head against. We do have on the 4-hour time frame, we have the 200 moving average, this red line, acting as resistance right now. This is the take profit target for a lot of day traders here. That was sitting at 113,800 in that ballpark area, which is kind of like where we're at right now. We're kind of like pushing ourselves up against this 200 moving average as resistance. I'm currently on a short on Bitcoin, but if we get past this 200 moving average, especially if we start making higher highs than we did the last 4 hours, when we get back up to 114K, I'm gonna get stopped out of my short here, and I might have to just close and reverse it and try to ride this thing to higher prices if Bitcoin wants to go to higher prices. But yeah, in the short term, I am bearish on Bitcoin, but let me look at the oscillators now. We did have a green buy dot here this morning, but we already knew that Bitcoin was going to be doing fine this morning. Buying pressure on the 4-hour time frame. We are getting some solid green candles here still. And RSI on the 4-hour time frame is at 62. Bitcoin still has room to go up to the upside and still not be overbought. Okay, so at least on the 4-hour time frame. Now, 1-hour time frame. Let's look at 1-hour time frame. RSI. RSI is at 68, close to being overbought on the 1-hour time frame. We were overbought around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock this morning. Okay. And here on the MACD, we have buying pressure is dying down on the 1-hour time frame. So be careful. Be careful out there with Bitcoin. Bitcoin could go down in the short term based on what I'm seeing on the chart. And then stochastic RSI is relatively high, and we might have to reset the stochastic RSI by going to lower prices before we can become bullish again on Bitcoin. And then right here on market cipher B, you did have a red dot here that came up on the 1-hour time frame for Bitcoin. at 1 o'clock this afternoon saying that be careful, the next few hours might not be so good for Bitcoin. So that's why I'm in the short. Okay? But things could pick up out of nowhere. We could just start catching bids out of nowhere. And the buying pressure that's dying down could start increasing. The RSI could start increasing. And then, you know, we'll just have to see if Bitcoin wants to go to like 114,500. Like it almost did earlier this morning. Alright, let's see. What does Job 316 says? Charlie Kirk shot man, the world needs Jesus. Okay. Let me catch up on the chat here on TikTok. Adrian wants to look at grass and GPS, and you want me to tell you what I think of the chart. Alright, I think I'll look at grass and then GPS for you, and I think that's going to be it for this live stream. Because I don't know if I have the energy to do that, and then also go to the gym and everything else I need to do today. So I am I'll look at grass for you real quick and GPS, and then that's going to be it for the stream. No more requests. I'm done for today. It's been live for almost an hour and a half now. Looking at grass, we're on the 1 hour time frame. Grass at 76 cents. You can go into the daily time frame, see what it looks like on the daily time frame here. Wow, okay, yeah, grass has been in a significant downtrend. It has seen better days here back in 2024, making lower high, obviously making more lower highs and lower lows. And you're like near the bottom, the abyss on grass here. You're at almost the same price that grass was trading at back in October 2024 when it first came on the Mexi exchange. So this is okay. That's a little bit disappointing to see, in my opinion. But what have you done recently? Ever since like the beginning of August, you bought them out here at 64 cents, and you're trying to make some higher highs here, and you're trying to make higher lows, obviously. Let me start to zoom in here a little bit more. Let me get rid of that previous chart work here. I kind of take it back. You're not making higher highs. You're still kind of in a downtrend here. With the candlewick lows, the candlewick highs here. You gotta get out of this downtrend on the lower highs here. Okay. Nice to see that you're trying to make higher lows, but you gotta start making higher highs here for me to become more bullish on this asset. Now, gotta get rid of that too. Now, when you're below the 200 moving average, like you are right now, that 200 moving average is $1.41. I have to be bearish versus bullish. But you got a lot of room. If you go up to that 200 moving average and you flip it from us being bearish to now we're being bullish because we're above the 200 moving average, you're looking at for a percentage gain, just getting back up to the 200 moving average of 85%, 86%, and that's just getting back above the 200-day moving average. More likely, before you get up to 200-day moving average, you're probably going to get rejected, right? You're going to get rejected off the 50-day moving average. Right over here, that green line, and that's about a 39% gain. So there's still some room to go to the upside. You might be catching the bottom here on grass. Put your stop loss below the low on Sunday, below 69 cents. What a great number. Maybe put your stop loss at like 68 cents, and if you get stopped out, then there's something still wrong with grass. But if you don't get stopped out, then that probably means the thing is pushing up to higher prices, and you got a 39% gain just getting up to the 50-day moving average, and you got a 85% move up just getting back to the 200-day moving average. So I think grass might be worth taking a shot. And I'm not sure if you're ever going to get up to the higher prices like you did back earlier this year, but we do have a 0.32 retracement at $1.69. and you get your golden pocket at 248, 258. And if you get up to like 248, 258, that's more than a 3x right there for this asset. All right, moving on to GPS. I think we're on Binance Exchange. Oh wow, GPS had better days as well. Earlier in 2025, in March of 2025, this thing was trading at like 6 cents. Now it's trading at a little bit above a penny, down 4.8%. You really are scraping the bottom on these assets here with grass and GPS. And this is just, god awful. Great if you're shorting, right? You just maintain that downtrend. You took it all the way down from like 2.5 cents all the way down to a penny. And it wasn't until you got down to a penny that you finally caught some bids. Looks like you caught some bids here. The bottom right now is at 0.00894 pennies. The problem with getting this asset, I wouldn't want to get long because you're below the moving averages, and also you don't know, could you go lower than this? You could, right? There's no guarantee that you're not going to go lower than 0.08 pennies until you create a higher low. If this is the higher low right now, then yeah, you can start game planning. You want to, see a higher low and then a higher high to get above the candle wick here at 2.022 pennies. But until you make a higher high and confirm that this is a higher low, you don't know if this thing's gonna keep on going down. It could go right back down to less than a penny, and then maybe you might get a double bottom. But I think you're taking a risk trying to long this if you're longing it, and trying to go short is not good either, because if you try shorting it, I mean, this could be the bottom, and then you get blown out of the water with your short if this thing goes up to higher prices. You're basically showing up late to the party if you're trying to short it, and if you're longing it, you're still taking a chance. You want to wait for the double bottom or the higher low to be formed, and then you can strategically figure where you're going to put your stop loss as you long this asset. But if you want to long it now, just keep in mind that it's a high risk long, and I would probably put the stop loss right below a penny here, right below the low here on Thursday. 0.0089 pennies. That's where I put the stop loss if I'm trying to take a high risk long and I'm thinking I'm catching the bottom here. Alright. John316, you say you love me. I love you too, bro. And no Chronos. Chronos kind of disappointed me. I was in a long yesterday and then I got out of it, and then I tried to I was thinking about longing it this morning, and it still didn't really do too much. So, but we can look at Chronos, maybe tomorrow, see what it's doing then. But yeah, I think for now, I think Bitcoin. Well, right now Bitcoin's climbing up. Let me get into the 15-minute time frame. Bitcoin is catching some bids since I've been live here. I went live around like 3 o'clock. And that was pretty much near the low for this afternoon. And looking at the MACD, you are seeing selling pressure die down on Bitcoin. I'm probably gonna get stopped out of my short on Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is catching some bids. It's good to see. Yep, I got stopped out. I had my stop loss at 113,800, so I just got stopped out of Bitcoin right now on my short. And then we do have a green buy dot here on the 15-minute time frame, saying that Bitcoin might want to start going back up again to surprise us to the upside. And on a 4-hour time frame, you got to get above 113,813 and start using that as support rather than resistance. And I think the next stop for Bitcoin is 114.5k. Yeah, if I go into the daily time frame, 114.5k is the next upside target, and also 115,300, another upside target for Bitcoin, according to the Fibonacci. But let's see if there's any candle wick support or or resistance. Right here, looks like we saw 114,750 on July 25th, and we also got some candle wick. We got candle body closes and openings at $115,000. We got a candle wick low here at 140,200. So yeah, looks like Bitcoin's going to start heading towards $115,000 if we continue being bullish tonight. And that's good for everybody, right? And we'll just see what the inflation report is like for tomorrow with the CPI report. Hopefully we get some good news with that. If we get bad news, maybe Bitcoin goes down. But I was thinking that Bitcoin was going to cool off this afternoon, which it did. But I thought it was going to continue cooling off tonight. But it looks like we're being very bullish here, and we're catching some bids here on Bitcoin. I'd be careful going long or short. I would actually be looking for shorts right now on Bitcoin, just because I'm just not sure if we're going to actually get above this 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. And it's kind of hard to plan on long in Bitcoin after you just made this solid move up here on price. So for the day traders, it's a little bit tricky out there. For the long-term investors, you're doing fine. Bitcoin making positive price action here, and I think Bitcoin wants to go to higher prices going into next month. So I think the long-term investors are doing fine with crypto. The day traders, it's a little bit tricky right now. I still think we need to see some more data. We gotta see how Bitcoin handles itself, and if we can get to 114k, maybe we start heading towards 115. But if 114 gets regarded as resistance, I would start looking for shorts if you're day trading Bitcoin. But I would also close out the short before you go to bed, because you don't want to stay short with a CPI report tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Very interesting times. Lots of volatility out there, guys. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine as long as inflation is not a problem. I foresee an altcoin season coming up here, guys. I got excited telling my family XRP, Solana, HBAR, and some other coins, Dogecoin even. If that comes out next month, then I mean, it's going to be altcoin season for sure. But that's going to be it for today, guys. I will see you in the next live stream. We're going to try to go live earlier at 12 p.m. Eastern time, around most people's lunch breaks. So yeah, be on the lookout for my next live stream tomorrow, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Take care, guys.